Jeanie Buss and the Buss family will no longer have any ownership in the Los Angeles Lakers. They are walking away, hands clean, done. The Buss family, according to reports from Shams Charania,
this isn't merely a business transaction. It marks the complete severing of a dynasty, a profound, almost unimaginable shift in the very DNA of one of the league's most storied franchises. For nearly half a century, the purple and gold ran through the Buss family's veins. From Dr. Jerry's audacious vision that built Showtime into a global phenomenon, forever altering the NBA's entertainment landscape, to Jeanie's steadfast leadership through modern challenges and championship runs, their name was inextricably linked to the Lakers' every triumph and tribulation. Now that foundational connection is gone. The symbolic passing of the torch, which once felt like a birthright passed down through generations, has become a final, definitive farewell.
First, Shams said, breaking, the Buss family has decided to sell its remaining 17.8% ownership stake in Los Angeles Lakers to new majority owners, Josh Kushner and Bob Iger. The Buss family trust.
It is phrased as a settled matter, which is itself a choice. It shifts the argument from what happened to who allowed it. That sets up the exchange this whole conversation was heading toward. The people named in that answer now have a response to write. It takes only a few more minutes for that to become a problem. The certainty in that delivery is not matched by the detail behind it. It puts a decision back on the table that was supposed to be finished. What is said after this reframes everything before it? That is a narrow answer to a much wider question. That creates a problem for everybody who signed off on the other version. The follow-up is where the
received majority votes to allow trustee to execute the sale. It required 4 of the 6 votes to enact the tag-along provision of Mark Walter's sale to Kushner and Iger, which valued the Lakers at $12.5 billion. Shams also said, once the transaction is completed, Jeanie Buss will no longer have the required ownership percentage to remain governor.
For Jeanie Buss, this transaction is far more than a divestment of shares. It's the relinquishing of a birthright, the formal end to her decades-long stewardship of the Lakers. Her identity, woven into the fabric of this franchise since childhood, now faces an abrupt redefinition. She built her life around continuing her father's legacy, leading the team through its darkest hours and brightest triumphs. Now, the finality of this vote strips her of the title. Yes, but also of the direct power to shape the future of the purple and gold. It marks the complete transition from a family-run enterprise, built on personal vision and generational ties, to an era defined by a consortium of outside investors. The Lakers will continue, but the soul of its previous governance, rooted in the Buss name, will not.
We have decided as a family to sell the remaining Buss Family Trust shares to the Bob Iger Group as part of the ongoing transaction.
This declaration of remaining shares and ongoing transactions unravels previous narratives of a tidy, completed handover. For years, there's been an implied finality to each stage of the Buss family's divestment, a sense that the torch had been passed and the new ownership structure was settled. Yet here, the language itself confirms that the process was far from over. This wasn't merely a clarification, it was an admission that the foundational connection, believed by many to be merely diluted, was still very much up for negotiation, and ultimately for sale. It reveals that earlier pronouncements about the Lakers' future, and the Buss family's role within it, were either incomplete, strategic half-truths, or simply failed to grasp the full scope of what was truly happening behind closed doors.
This is officially the end of the Buss era for the Lakers.
The public declaration of the Buss era's end isn't merely a factual update. It's a strategic maneuver that creates immediate pressure across the entire organization. For Jeanie Buss, the challenge now intensifies to justify this complete divestment, not just to shareholders, but to a fan base that has seen her as the direct inheritor of her father's vision. Her long-standing stewardship, once seen as the unbreakable link to the Lakers' past, now demands a clear rationale for why the family's direct control has fully ceased. Meanwhile, the new ownership consortium, having secured the controlling interest, instantly finds themselves under an intense spotlight. Their intentions for the Lakers' future, and their commitment to preserving a franchise's unique identity, will face immediate and rigorous scrutiny.
It'll be interesting to see if Jeanie still stays with the organization for, at least the remainder of the year. I could see something more after this year. This is interesting because this could cause the snowball effect that is, hey, let's just clean house. Jeanie Buss and everybody's gone, get rid of Rob.
The immediate speculation surrounding Jeanie Buss's future with the Lakers, and the potential for a complete organizational overhaul, underscores the profound instability now gripping the franchise. This isn't just about the departure of a principal owner or even the general manager. It suggests a far deeper institutional shakeup, one that could dismantle the existing power structures and allegiances built over decades. With controlling interests no longer residing within the Buss family, the traditional bonds of loyalty and long-term vision might yield to the more immediate demands of a new consortium of investors. The very DNA of the Lakers front office, long defined by its familial roots and established hierarchy, now faces an existential threat.
OKC fans were calling for his head. They wanted him fired. And he had to go on and apologize to everybody. Like, again, guys make mistakes. It's part of the sport. It's part of the game. No GM, nobody's perfect, right? But, okay, if you want to move on.
To understand the true intent behind the Buss family's declaration of a reduced stake, one must consider the climate of accountability and the demand for change that often accompanies underperforming teams. When public sentiment turns critical and calls for new leadership grow louder within a storied franchise, framing a major ownership shift becomes more than a financial transaction. It signals an organizational reset. The careful articulation of remaining shares in ongoing transactions might, in this light, be a deliberate attempt to manage expectations and perception. It creates a narrative of evolution rather than upheaval, suggesting that future personnel or strategic shifts are a natural consequence of this broader, necessary restructuring, rather than an admission of current failings.
Right, say however you feel about, again, the Lakers organization and Rob and all that. JJ Redick has proven over the last 2 years that he is an excellent coach, and he's only going to get better. He's only going to improve more. He's improved every year. And now he finally has a team that is like a J.
The conversation around coaching stability and the ultimate efficacy of leadership decisions is hardly a new one for the Lakers. In fact, it is not the first time this has come up. Not for this franchise that has seen a carousel of respected names take the helm, often with mixed results and intense public scrutiny. This recent assessment of JJ Redick's coaching prowess, while highlighting potential, inevitably lands amidst the profound structural changes rocking the organization. With the Buss family's long-standing control now significantly diluted, every key personnel decision, from the coaching staff to the roster, is viewed through a dramatically altered lens. The very criteria for success, and the patience afforded to those tasked with achieving it, are now subject to the immediate expectations and strategic priorities of a new ownership consortium.
I think JJ should be your head coach for the next 15 years. Now, obviously, look, if he 5 years in hasn't, even sniffed a championship, and all we're doing is getting first, second round exits, then sure, we need to start having a conversation. But it is way too early, and he has had more success than many coaches.
The idea of a 15-year coaching tenure, especially for a rookie head coach like JJ Redick, reflects a certain ideal, a vision of stability and long-term commitment that has been a hallmark of some of the league's most successful franchises. Yet, this sentiment now collides head-on with the cold realities of modern NBA ownership, particularly when a new financial consortium takes the reins. The new stakeholders, driven by their own timelines and return on investment metrics, rarely extend such a luxury. The very notion of affording a coach years to sniff a championship might seem anachronistic in an era defined by immediate gratification and the constant pressure for quick turnarounds. The patience once afforded by a family-run organization could very well be a relic of the past, leaving Redick, and any future Lakers coach, on a far shorter leash.
Even said himself, look, we don't have a plan yet. All this literally just kind of came and just started to snowball, right? They went to sleep one day, woke up the next day, and they were owners of the Lakers, right? It literally happened in 3 days. So
the clip describes the speed of the acquisition, almost as if it fell into their laps. But the reality was a meticulously crafted deal by the visionary Jerry Buss. He seized a truly unique opportunity presented by the owner Jack Kent Cooke. Cooke was not merely selling a basketball team, he was divesting an entire sports and entertainment portfolio that included not only the Lakers, but also the NHL's Los Angeles Kings, and the iconic Forum Arena. Cooke's focus had shifted to his Washington Redskins NFL franchise, and the construction of a new stadium, creating a rare window. For Buss, this wasn't just about buying a basketball team, but acquiring a sprawling, integrated empire.
Right? Everything is business as usual. Again, my guess is nothing will change this year. Jeanie will probably still remain the governor, will still handle kind of the day-to-day basketball stuff, the business side of things. Also, her contract is with Mark Walters was for just the basketball side of things, right? Like the business and basketball side. So I could see maybe her still sticking around.
Business as usual might be the public face, but beneath the surface, Jeanie Buss's role undergoes a fundamental transformation. While she may continue to hold the governor title and manage daily basketball operations, her authority is no longer sovereign. She transitions from being the ultimate, self-possessed owner-operator, the steward of a family empire, to an executive answerable to a new consortium, whose primary drivers are financial return and strategic timelines. This shift fundamentally changes her personal accountability. Her decisions, once tied directly to the Buss family legacy, now must align with the immediate priorities of a diverse group of investors. The emotional cost is immeasurable, as her leadership, while still visible, becomes one of delegated power rather than absolute control.
Rob will still be in, like, you gotta at least let him see it through, right? Like, he just put this team together. You gotta at least see kind of where you're at. My guess is, again, I think Bob Iger and Josh Kushner, I think they will take a step back.
Yet the assertion that the new financial power brokers would take a step back or allow existing management ample time to see it through creates a distinct friction with the very nature of such an acquisition. New consortiums, particularly those with a significant financial stake, rarely invest billions without a clear intention to influence strategy and accelerate returns. The notion of the patient, hands-off approach from figures like Bob Iger or Josh Kushner, whose careers are built on strategic influence and maximizing value, directly contradicts the earlier described pressures for immediate gratification and adherence to strict timelines. This perspective suggests a smoother transition than history, and the stated motivations of new ownership, would typically allow. It forces the question of whether the public perception of continuity can truly align with the underlying financial imperatives driving this monumental shift.
Get all this done, the sale finalized and everything, and I think we'll look at, kind of the Lakers situation, what the team looks like, were they good, were they bad, like they won the championship, did they not, were they close, right? Like, I think you'll see a lot of the stuff that was reported and coming out continue to report, the biometrics lab stuff. I think all those things will still be intact. And then I think next year,
with the ink barely dry on the sale documents, the very metrics discussed for evaluating team performance, championships, competitiveness, and overall quality become a direct crucible for Jeanie Buss and her executive team. No longer insulated by the long-term vision of a family dynasty, their operational decisions and on-court results are now subject to the sharp, immediate expectations of a powerful new consortium. This isn't merely about maintaining the status quo of biometrics labs or existing infrastructure. It's about justifying a multi-billion-dollar investment with tangible wins and sustained success. The pressure on general manager Rob Pelinka, his scouts, coaches, and even star players amplifies exponentially.
I mean, are they going to end up firing Rob and just pay him to go? Are they going to do the same thing for Jay? I think JJ's safe personally, and I think he should be safe, as I mentioned earlier. But Rob, I don't know. Rob could be on thin ice, but also who knows, right? Like, we don't know what Rob's relationship with Bob Iger and Josh Kushner is compared to Mark Walter and stuff. We don't know what they get along great. And
the pause before that answer says as much as the answer does. It leaves a gap between what is being claimed and what can be backed up. It does not stay this contained for long. That raises a question the room was clearly not prepared to handle. What comes next makes that look very different in hindsight. The phrasing is doing a lot of quiet work in a very short space. Someone will have to reconcile that with what was said publicly. The next answer is where that position gets tested. That framing protects one side of the story and leaves the other exposed. It makes the earlier account harder to defend than it was. Whether that holds up depends entirely on what follows.
Basketball, which is fine. Like I've talked about, I'm not worried about, because so many people are like, oh, but they're businessmen. Yeah, who isn't that owns a Lakers team? Even Mark Cuban was a businessman. Yeah, he was a basketball fan, but all these guys are basketball fans. Is why they bought it, right? It's them putting guys in place that are basketball people. There's nothing wrong with them not being basketball people as long as they hire the right basketball people.
This framing strategically shifts the focus from the identity of the new owners to the operational structure they might adopt. By explicitly distinguishing between businessmen and basketball people, the speaker attempts to preemptively manage fan expectations and allay fears of radical operational changes. The underlying motive is clear: to suggest that the Laker legacy of success can continue, provided the new consortium adheres to a specific hands-off hiring philosophy. It's an implicit plea for continuity, advocating that the new financial power brokers primarily contribute capital and appoint trusted, knowledgeable personnel. This argument, while reassuring on its surface, also reveals a quiet tension. It asks new ownership to prioritize basketball expertise over immediate financial returns or direct strategic involvement, a commitment that remains to be seen from those who have just invested billions. That was a considered answer, not a spontaneous one. Someone will have to reconcile that with what was said publicly. Whether that holds up depends entirely on what follows. That turns a private disagreement into something with consequences attached. That sets up the exchange this whole conversation was heading toward. The wording there is careful, and careful wording is usually protecting something. It leaves a gap between what is being claimed and what can be backed up. What is said after this reframes everything before it. That answer closes one door and quietly opens another. The certainty in that delivery is not matched by the detail behind it. The people named in that answer now have a response to write. The reply to that is the part worth waiting for. That raises a question the room was clearly not prepared to handle. It takes only a few more minutes for that to become a problem. Notice what is being stepped around rather than what is being confirmed. The story stops being about opinion there and starts costing somebody something. The follow-up is where the careful wording starts to strain.